gals, welcome back to our channel. This is Crows Before Bros, a kooky little book channel that I run with my best friend Randy. Hi Randy. It has been so long. Where have I been, you ask? Well, I finally got around to playing Doki Doki Literature Club and I've been locked up. For real though, if you're here for my charming personality, I will include a little life update at the end of this video. But first, let's get into the book stuff. Guys, it's the end of December, which means it's lolties time, baby. Last year, I introduced my book version of The Office's Dundies to our channel, in which I give out some awards to some books that were really special in some way or another. It is high time we do it again. Lolties 2023. Let's go. All right, without further ado, the first loltie this year is a returning category called Coziest Atmosphere. This is gonna get me a lot of flack from probably especially my husband, because this book is overarchingly not peaceful, not cozy, but I have to give this loltie to The Fellowship of the Ring by Tolkien. I've watched the movies a ton of times, but this year is the first year that I've actually dipped into the book trilogy, and it just transports you. Tolkien is so descriptive in his writing, and it's meandering, but it's meandering in a very cozy kind of way. I can't help but feel like a snuggly little worm when I'm reading about the Shire and Rivendell. I personally hope that Rivendell is what heaven looks like. Pacing wise, the book is definitely a little slower. So even though there is some pretty significant danger and combat, it does still feel cozy in my opinion. I would highly recommend it. It is a classic. I'm hoping to tuck into the second one over my Christmas break here. The second loltie today is for Quippiest Banter. I'm talking about the flirty interplay between the two leading characters, jokes and sly moments that I feel like I'm a part of. This is not to be confused with like lush or romantic writing, but more the kind that feels clever and makes you laugh, makes you side-eye a little bit. Admittedly, I haven't read a ton of romance this year that didn't make me want to barf, but the winner in this category is another Emily Henry novel. Two-time winner! Last year, Beach Read took the loltie in this category, and this year I have to give it to People We Meet on Vacation. Emily Henry frankly needs to write a masterclass in quippy banter. I don't think any other contemporary romance writer can touch her, frankly. Happy Place is also a romance that I read this year, and it would be a close-ish second, but I definitely think I liked People We Meet on Vacation better. The next loltie is for Unputdownable Thriller. I have to say that this was not the year for thrillers for me. This is the year that I denounced Riley Sager. I also read really only a handful of books that could have been plopped into this category. As somebody who really enjoys thrillers, and realizing how few I've actually read this year reminded me how short a year really is. But I have to give this one to If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This book was so smart, it was twisty, and it read like dark academia. The main characters were so faulty and frankly pretty unlikable. I couldn't help but be curious about where their stories were going and who or who wasn't guilty. If you're a Shakespeare fan and want something windy and clever, I highly, highly recommend this one. It's one of my favorites of the year. The next loltie is for Hurt Me and Will Hurt You Too. Now, admittedly, I've been reading less heartbreaking stuff this year. Life is hard. Life is hard enough without my books making me cry. While this book didn't actually make me cry, it has a very hard-hitting kind of delivery, as it's a memoir about the author's time in an abusive relationship. This loltie goes to Carmen Maria Machado's In the Dream House. I actually took in this book via audiobook. I think that made it all the more heartbreaking and haunting. The author is the narrator, and it's both like weirdly cold and it feels like something you, the reader, are going through. I would highly suggest this one, especially if you're into memoirs. And I would say particularly if you're into memoirs with interesting formats, as each chapter of this book is an example of a narrative trope. It's bone-chilling, honestly. It's so good. I wanted to hit the imaginary best friend category again this year, but I think we can all agree that Samwise Gamgee is the greatest of all time.
I made a promise, Mr. Frodo. A promise.
How could I give it to anybody else? And lastly, I want to crown my very favorite read of the whole year with so few days left of 2023. My favorite, most juiciest, gorgeous book this year is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I'm exactly like other girls. This one has been so hyped on TikTok, and I honestly think for really good reason. Both Randy and I have been so disappointed by TikTok reads this last year, but I think this one truly deserves it. Catch me at Indigo right at 10 o'clock in the morning to pick up Ruth Berthel's Vows. This book is about rival journalists. I don't really want to tell you the magical realism element because it is so neat and so romantic, and I want you to just go read it. It is a masterclass in flirting and is just mysterious enough to be kind of tucking into the fantasy category. It's very good. That's it, you guys. Heading into 2024, I hope to follow the sage advice of Randy from her last solo video, which honestly, I think she was speaking directly to me, very rude. I'll make sure to link this video below, but she talked in her solo video about reading books with a lot more intention and how that changed her reading over this past year. Now, throwback to 2022, I had set myself a reading goal of 50 books and I missed it by just like this much. 2 books off. I didn't quite make it. And that did something to me, something to competitive Lauren. I tried to go hard this year with the same number to try to, I don't know, not even really beat other people's numbers, but to beat myself. I've had a really tumultuous relationship with reading this year as a result, unfortunately. Randy spoke about this in her video, but I think it's really easy when you set these goals for yourself that are more based on quantity and less on quality, that you wind up like not liking it as much anymore and forgetting that reading is about enjoyment. Reading is about having fun. I found myself this past year picking shorter books or more popular books to try to stay relevant. Unfortunately, I landed on so many books this year that didn't do it for me or started strong and just petered out as the book went on, leaving me thinking like, do I even like reading? The answer is yes, but I'm choosing the wrong books. I have a few new goals for the year 2024. This is only a little bit of it, but I have a very large physical library that I want to work through as a kind of stand up against my dopamine chasing, going and buying books anytime that I'm feeling down sort of behavior. A lot of the books that I bought in 2023 were flops. And so I kind of want to challenge that in myself to try to eat through what I have and also not necessarily buy books unless I'm certain I'm going to like them. This is so scary for me, but I also want to allow myself to DNF things in 2024. This is something that Randy did this year and had a lot of success with it. I think I need to grasp onto the fact that if I put a book down because I'm not feeling it, that doesn't mean I'm giving up on it forever. Just for right now. I struggle so much with not feeling in the mood for a specific thing, but then feeling like so stubborn, like, well, I started it, I have to finish it. It's just wasted time if I don't. I really hate wasting time. And I think that this is something that I need to grow in like the rest of my life as well, not just reading. Rest is valid and enjoying books is the whole point. All of this said, I think the reason why I've read less books this fall is because we have had a huge life change. I'm not pregnant. Don't even ask. Some of you know that I am a music teacher, so I teach from my house currently, and we've had a huge opportunity to grow into a commercial space. I am so excited, and also like it's just still kind of surreal. We sort of move in there in January, and it's a crazy season of getting everything prepped and like doing renovations and dealing with the city, and it's just been like so much. And so I have unfortunately like made less time for reading. One of my goals in 2024 is to make intentional space for reading because it's something that I really enjoy. And I think that in tandem with DNFing, in tandem with trying to work through my physical library, I think is going to make my relationship with reading a lot better in 2024. Anyway, we love you guys. Thanks so much for being here and watching us ramble about books for another year. I hope you guys have a great holiday season and a happy new year, and we'll see you again in 2024. We love you. Bye. Mwah!